Hi guys, welcome back to the SKMA podcast, Beyond the Belt. Today's an episode which I think is a really important one because it touches on something I know a lot of people struggle with, especially once life changes. So today we're going to be talking about training when life is busy, training when priorities shift, and training when you're tired, stretched, and trying to be everything to everybody. Today I'm joined by Jazz, who is one of our black belts here at SKMA for our TRK kickboxing program, and just happens to be my fiance, which is weird, doing a podcast with the other half. Anyway, we came in prepped, so I got one of these, she's got one of those. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for doing this. Now, Jazz is a new mum to Poppy, who's 2 in March.
Next month.
I know my dates. So we're going to talk frankly and honestly about what training looks like after becoming a parent, recovery after a caesarean, which Jazz had to go through sadly, finding balance between work, family and training, and the mindset shifts that happen when life suddenly feels very full and difficult. This isn't about bouncing back, it's not about pushing harder or doing more or being more motivated, because that's a load of bullshit and you know it is. It's about listening to your body, adjusting your expectations, finding headspace for training when life feels hectic, whether you're a parent planning to be one or just navigating a busy lifestyle or even just a busy phase of your life, to be fair. There's always going to be something in this conversation that you're going to be able to refer back to, I think, hopefully. So Jazz, thanks for coming on and doing this with me. I know it's weird. This is a kind of dynamic we've not had in our relationship before, which is going to be interesting. And some really weird stuff's probably going to come out, which is going to be hilarious and probably embarrassing for me, but we'll have fun regardless. So, right, so question 1. So, becoming a mum is a huge life change. How did that shift your relationship with training? Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. How did that affect you, do you think?
Oh God, it affected me massively, to be fair. Bearing in mind, I was training 6 days a week.
And personal training.
And PTs as well, yeah. I graded to my black belt in March, a couple of years back. And it was just like, it was that routine. And even through pregnancy, I kind of thought like, oh, I'll keep training, it'll be okay. I'll get as far as I can. And in an ideal world, you get right to the end, like you see all these videos on Facebook and all these reels and other mums are doing it. But everybody's different. Mm-hmm. And that's what you've got to bear in mind. So I think for me, training before Poppy, no sweat, no problem. It was my thing to do. I loved it. It took all my stress away. Training after Poppy, emotionally, it still is really difficult because I come in sort of once every other week. And sometimes I kind of feel like I don't have like a right or I shouldn't be correcting people. I shouldn't be helping people and I shouldn't be showing them what to do when I don't really train to that point myself. So it's been really hard, but ultimately I think I'm just learning now not to be too hard on myself, and just have real expectations.
Let me just have something to say there as well for you. You say about not feeling like you've got the right to correct someone or do something because you're not there as much, but you've got to remember your progress, although it ramped up really quickly, and then you trained for, you were doing 9 hours a week some weeks because you were doing double sessions as well, because at the time we were doing 2 sessions in an evening, plus your PTs, plus everything else. So just to reiterate, really busy calendar of training, lots of progress, lots of stuff, got your black belt, had Poppy, but then you've come back, and because of the length of time that's been there from the get-go, that's all shifted and changed because the way the club's moved on. So we've gone from having 2 sessions of kickboxing a night, and we've spread them out during the week to give us more sessions a week. So the thing that you need to bear in mind as well, I think personally, is not so much the fact that you don't have the right, or you don't feel like you should have the right to correct and give people instruction. You've got more wealth of knowledge in the time you spent training in that time to get to your black belt. You know everything you need to know, everything there is to know about the syllabus, the style, the way I teach, because you were there for everything. You're the most experienced person when it comes to what there is to do, how there is to do it, how the syllabus works, how I teach it myself. And you reach that black belt level. That black belt level won't fall away just because you've disappeared off, whether that's for a 2-week holiday or a year off because of Poppy. You earn that level, you've got that training. Your fitness might be a little bit lower because you're not training as much, but you are definitely fundamentally a black belt for what you are. And you've got to remember, progress isn't a consistent line. It goes sideways sometimes. Sometimes you're progressing in what you already do and how you already do. You look at your crescent kick alone and your hook punch. Sounds like a shotgun going off. You never lost it. You came back in the first week and it was like, bang. Like, oh, God. Still got that then. But then, the fitness dropped off a little bit. But that's something you could build back quicker. And you're not trying to come back and be the same person you were before, because you aren't the same person you were before. You're new and improved, and something might have gone, but other things are in its place.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important part. You'll never, regardless of why you've had the break, if you've had a life-changing situation, you are never going to be that same person. And, you say about fitness levels and I think, how do I physically feel? Well, that's the other problem as well. I was physically quite fit, as in my fitness level was, for me, the best it's ever been before Poppy. But now, I'll be honest, I run up the stairs and I'm dying. So it's trying to kind of get your head around the fact that you can't. I wanted to come back and come back as if I'd never had a break.
Yeah.
And I think when you desperately want that to be the situation and it isn't the situation, it kind of hits you and you think, oh God, I'm awful. But it's not the fact that you're awful, you're just different.
You're not where you were.
Yeah, exactly. But for the best reason.
Yeah. I was going to say, and that doesn't have to be a baby, especially if you're a guy. It could be it could be
painful.
any injury, any family scenario, any work scenario, anything that takes you away for a week or a year, or any time span in between. It doesn't matter what the time span is, it's how you feel when you come back. But it's remembering that progress isn't a straight line. Motivation will get you in the door for the first 2 sessions, and then it's discipline. And the discipline is going in there and doing it even when you don't feel like it and you can't be asked, and even when, like you said, you don't feel like you were where you were before, because you're never going to be where you want to be. You look at myself, how many downgrades have I got in how many arts? Like 9 arts, 25, 26 black belts I've earned over time, and that's great. But all it means is I had a very sheltered life at home. I had nothing to do and I spent a lot of time training until you came along. But it's the same thing. There's still things that I want to be able to do in my training that I still don't have time for or can't necessarily achieve because of what's going on with life or what's going on with work.
Yeah, definitely. And I think outside of all of that, I mean, obviously I'm speaking from having Poppy and that's my life-changing situation. But regardless of your situation, I think as well, outside influences do definitely have a part. Like, I work full time. So, by the time I finished a work day and then done the nursery run, or, I've put the hoover around the house or whatever it might be, it could be something so simple, but by that point, I'm just done. I'm knackered, and then I've got a toddler to put to bed and do everything with. And don't get me wrong, she's amazing. But we're at the stage now where she just literally runs off naked, doesn't come back when you call her. get sick of the sound of my own voice saying, Poppy!
I don't know where she gets that.
Oh, no idea. But yeah, and it's definitely that, you know, your stress levels are so much higher that you do have to be, I think the discipline comes in more when you've had a break and you've had to come back and things are slightly different outside of training.
Yeah.
That discipline is more needed there than it ever has been.
Yeah, 100%.
So
100%.
yeah, it's
Okay.
hard.
All right then, let's move on to my next question because this one's a bit of a doozy. So we had to have a caesarean with Poppy, which was not the plan.
No, it was not.
Massive shock mentally, but then physically, like caesarean comes with its own challenges on recovery anyway, but I just want to ask you about what the recovery looked like for you so you can explain that and how you approached getting back into training safely and how we got the process we went through to get you back training.
So recovery wise, I must admit I was very lucky because I was able, you know, I kept moving. I probably disregarded so many rules that they sort of set because that's a whole issue in itself. If you've had to have a C-section, there is no recovery tips and tricks. There's no conversation of, right, okay, you've had this surgery, this is your recovery plan, this is what to look out for. If you spot any redness, which to be fair you don't, because unless you're looking in a mirror and you're kind of like half bending backwards, you're not going to see anything. You know, that like there's no information out there for C-section recovery, so a lot of it is just going by what you've been told by the people, what you kind of hear being said in the past. For me personally, it was an emergency, so it was. I think the whole situation was just a lot more stressful, and I think, to be fair, that if it was a planned C-section, I've heard that actually they're quite nice. The recovery tends to be a lot easier because it's not just physical, it's mental as well. So I think, you know, if you've had an emergency C-section and you're not mentally prepared for it, you've got no aftercare advice, you've just got to kind of go with what feels right to you with your body. Generally speaking, C-section recovery, for those who don't know, they usually say it's a rule of 5. So it's like 5 days in bed, 5 days around the bed, and 5 days sort of in the house, but you can, you know, move away from your bed. You don't lift anything heavier than your own baby. I got very told off by the health visitor for putting the hoover around 4 weeks post C-section.
Remember that?
Yeah. Carrying a washing basket, you know, it's a big no-no, but ultimately be sensible but listen to your body. Don't think that you have to get back into something straight away, because you really don't. It's not important, because you've had, I think it's 7 layers. Is it 7? Rings a bell. 7 layers.
All of them to get to the baby.
All of them, exactly. To get there. So, you know, you're not just healing externally, you're healing internally as well. And like I said, you've got the mental side of things as well. Now, obviously, I don't want to put any, you know, fear factors for anybody who might be watching this, might be in the same situation, might, you know, have to face that. Whatever your situation is, you know, ultimately just be sensible. Just be very sensible and be very careful, but do what's right for you. Coming back to training, I think my first class back, I think Poppy was 3 months old, wasn't she? We brought her to the dojo on my first one back.
Yeah, it was about 3 months.
Yeah.
And we literally just did really light cardio, arms,
Yeah.
avoided kicks and core altogether,
Yeah.
just to avoid the bruising and the scar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, C-section recovery is 6 weeks. It's not 6 weeks. It won't be 6 weeks for everybody. Some people might be like Wolverine and just miraculously like heal really quickly and they feel fine, and that's okay. Others might take a bit longer, and that's okay as well. But I came back when Poppy was about 3 months old, and even then, you know, you've got to think like your abdominal muscles are split.
I was going to say, your back, but the scar's healing.
Yeah.
It's sealed, it's healing, but all of your muscles are completely separated, and we're gradually trying to build the core back.
Exactly.
So we started working on the obliques first. So everything down the side, hip flexors all the way down, and then working on the lower pelvis.
Yeah.
And then you started gradually working your way into pelvic floor exercises. And then what was the thing you've just started doing more recently? Not Kegel.
Definitely not Kegels. Just to
That's the
clarify,
first embarrassing
no
thing.
Kegels.
Boom. What was the thing you're doing now?
So it's diastasis recti. It's the scientific name for the abdominal split. So for those, just a quick education thing. So for those who have had C-sections before, regardless of how long ago it was, or to be fair, even a what I would consider a normal birth. Obviously, I say that very lightly. If you lay on the floor and slightly sit up, so you're all tensed in your core, and you put your fingers sort of in there, you can feel the split. And depending on how big that split is, depends on the exercises that you have to do to get that back. So it's not, don't rush out to do sit-ups and crunches and things like that, V-sits and burpees. Sure, no burpees.
You can do it with one leg.
Don't rush out to do any of that because it doesn't work. You need to focus purely on exercises that target the lower ab muscles and also that split, the diastasis recti. For C-sections, it is a little more specific because obviously you've got all that scar tissue. It also does affect your lower back as well. So all the muscles in your lower back, still have problems with them now, just because it's all the scar tissue pulling. So just be mindful what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're 3 months or a year past C-section. Everybody's different, and I can't stress that enough. Just take it slow and take it steady is probably my best advice. And for me, that was really hard. Again, so
that's the same thing. Same thing I want to point out there. C-section for you, but for somebody else, it could have been a broken leg, it could have been a broken arm, could have cracked a rib. Any kind of injury you've got to come back from. Some injuries, they never recover fully. So there's certain things that you're gonna do where you can come back to the dojo 6 weeks later and you broke your toe, come back 6 weeks later, it was like you never left, nothing's wrong, and you knew and improved. And there's other things you're gonna come back from where you can't bend that knee anymore. Or your spine will not bend in that one specific place where you could do, I don't know, a round kick. So when we do our own training personally in the dojo, person to person, you have to make adjustments around what you have to work around. And if that means that you can't do one of the exercises, there's a workaround. There's always a workaround. There's something else you can do or a supplementary exercise you can do instead that doesn't necessarily target the same muscles. You might have to avoid those muscles altogether and work on something else, but it's not going to stop you doing the thing you want to do. All right, let's move on to the next question then. So training around Poppy, the baby. So it's not just about time, because that's what everyone thinks, I just haven't got the time to do it. It's not just about the time, it's about the energy and how you navigate training around naps, the baby's routine as she's getting older, and then the unpredictability of the motherhood in the first place, because you're set to go, you've got your bag, everything's good to go, and she shits her nappy, throws up everywhere, and you're like, training session's gone. So how do you work around that?
give yourself like an extra hour. Honestly.
Yeah.
I joke, but seriously, give yourself extra time. But also, like, again, my situation is very different because, you know, you're doing classes in the evening.
Yeah.
So
you can't just rock up, can you?
Exactly. The times where I can train because I'm not working, I can't because, you know, I've got Pops. And it's working around bedtime, and she's not quite at that age yet where she can come with me and just sit down, or, you know, we could go into a corner and she can just join in.
Yeah.
You know, she's not at that point yet. And I think it's just about, you know, don't set your expectations too high. Also, like for me, my energy levels are just flawed constantly. You know, if you're not working, I'm dealing with a toddler, and if I'm not dealing with a toddler, I'm dealing with you.
Big toddler.
You know, but it's a lot. You know, life's busy. Life's really, really busy. But I do, you know, like the first year, I think I really regret that. It, like on my training side of things, because I could have come so much more than I did, and the reason I didn't was because of those reasons that you say. You know, like either you're just about to get in the car and you go, oh, really? So then you've got to drop your bag, you've got to change the baby, you've got to get back in the car and go, then you're late, and then it's nap time, and then naps change like God knows how
Just
much.
quickly from me as well, you say you regret that first year, you could have got to training more, you could have done more, just like working it around Pops. But every time you didn't, it's not held you back in any way, it's not done anything bad to you. If anything, it's bought you more time with Pops.
Yeah.
So you were with Pops. It's not like, you know, you just couldn't be asked and you weren't motivated, you didn't turn up. You're ready to go, you couldn't make it, and it's a kick in the teeth at the time, and you get really frustrated, really pissed off, like I'm sure some of these guys do with their kids and work and the other half. The car breaking down, just stupid stuff. But the important thing is, next day, get up, go again, and you go. Which you've done, and you've kept doing, and you're back again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've got quite a good dynamic now. You know, every other Tuesday I'm in the dojo, I get a bit of dojo time. And that's not just training, that's also, you know, I'm in a really privileged position where, you know, if I don't come down to train, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because, you know, all right, I can't hit some pads, but ultimately it's still coming down and seeing everybody at the dojo, it's still having a bit of contact with people.
Yeah, social time, isn't it?
Exactly, because that's the other thing, you know, like social life. Bye. You know, it's gone. But again, you know, I think a lot of that for me is out of choice, because I choose to stay home and stay with Pops or stay with you. I'm quite a home bird these days. So,
Do you think as well, like the community at the dojo makes more of a difference and makes you want to go more?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing you miss. Obviously it's training, obviously it's improving yourself and aiming for your next level and everything, but much more than that, it's the community and the people that are there, and then the dynamic when you're there as well. Not that you'd want to forget Poppy, but just for that 1 hour, it's you, everybody else in the room, and just smashing something out.
100%. Like, without the community at the dojo, I don't think I would be coming back full stop, if I'm being completely honest. You know, you guys are amazing. You're amazing too. And that's
I'll give you that tenner in a minute. I'll give you that tenner in a minute.
But, you know, in all seriousness, it is that community feel. And I think it's really easy as a mum, especially in my position where training was kind of your thing, it's all you did, to now when you can't do that necessarily as much. It's like that's that whole identity crisis, and, you know, you don't feel like you because you've lost the thing that makes you you.
Yeah.
But equally, as long as I see people,
see, that's a question I didn't want to ask, but that's one of those things as well. Like, you talk about identity. If you strip everything away, all your training, all your martial arts, everything else you've got, and you go, Christ, what's left? For me, that it's my job, it's my entire ego, everything I've ever worked for, my entire life has been based around training to be the kind of person I want to be, where not just like, oh, I'm a kick-ass black belt, I can do X, Y, Z, I can perform this, I can do this, I can do that, because that's just stuff I know and how to do it, and general fitness. And I'd love to think if anything ever happened or kicked off, I'm going to rip out some eyeballs, I'm going to dish out some damage, but that's all physical stuff. Without all of that there for you, you strip that all away, you're a mum to Poppy, you're a fiance to me, we're a family unit together. But if you took the dojo away, we would still have that dynamic as is, and we take that into the next thing we did. So the community might not be there, but we've got our own little village here.
We're a little unit, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But it's a weird thing to think, like you've chosen martial arts as your thing, and you start it for you to do your thing for you. But now it's not about us, it's about everybody else.
Yeah.
And the village that we've created, and then the community that's there, and then we're doing it for the kids, and we're doing it for Poppy, and then you think in 20 years' time, Poppy is going to be 22, hopefully taking classes. You'll be doing the same thing, and I'll be sat in a deck chair with a can of beer. I'll be teaching classes with you guys and working really hard. Right, I've got one more question for you. We're going to start to tie this up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, advice for other parents. So, for any other mums, or parents in general actually, who feel like training has slipped or feels harder than it used to, what would you say to them now with the perspective you've gained through having Pops and having to come back?
Oh, God, where to start with this one, to be fair? Go on.
I know a really good meme.
Oh, okay.
I'll show it in a bit.
Right.
Huh? Yeah, I've shown it to you.
Have you?
Stop being a bitch and get on with it.
Great, yeah. Great advice, Sean. Great advice.
I'd show it to you, but it's on my phone and we're recording on there.
To be fair, my advice would be just to... I know it's hard. I know the amount of pressure that goes with being a parent, especially being a mum, because mums... And I don't mean this to take anything away from the dads, because you're just as important and just as good as the mums. But mums have this thing where they are always thinking about what needs to be done, always thinking about their to-do lists for work, family, kids, everything. And it's almost like a default setting. It's not something, believe me, we choose to think about all the time. So the mental burnout is massive. But when it comes to your training, honestly, you'll feel so much better just getting down and doing it. And it will pay off, even for your mental health. I know you're tired. Yeah. And physically, you just think, I just want to veg out on the sofa, watch some really crap TV with, a drink or some crisps. I could really do that right now, actually. But, just get down there. Just get down and see people, because if it's not the fact that you're there to train, the fact that you're there to see people and people that are in the same boat as you does make it feel better. Sometimes you just need somebody to look at you and go, I get it. I totally get it. And that's it. It like factory resets everything. So advice for parents, just get down. Advice for mums in particular. For me, I thought about joining, at the gym they did baby classes as well, where you put the babies in the carriers when they're a certain age and you can go and do fitness classes. Yeah. But that's not my community that I knew.
Different people,
or know. Yeah. So I didn't want to go and do that. But equally, literally, just put baby in a carrier and just go for a walk. If you don't want to go training, just put baby in a carrier, go for a walk, put them in the pram, go for a walk.
Do something.
Exactly, do something. And if you're in my situation where either you've had a C-section or you've got one planned for whatever reason, recovery-wise, walking was the best thing I ever did. Short walk a day, doesn't have to be anything major. We used to do short walks. I think our first walk out was about 10 minutes, wasn't it?
Literally around the block.
Yeah.
I think actually we went around the co-op and got some beer.
You might have, I didn't.
I definitely did.
But, you know, just kind of like get out for that walk, get out for the fresh air, especially if you're a mum that's just had baby as well.
Yeah, you need the sun, you need some fresh air.
Everything is everywhere. And the amount of times I sat there and cried and I thought, what the hell am I crying about? What am I actually crying about? There was nothing, but, you know, as a mum, a new mum, your hormones are mental. I read a fact the other day. It was something to do with, for a man to experience it, he would have to...
Have a cold?
Oh, God, yeah, have a cold for 80 years straight. That'll just about do it. I can't remember exactly what the fact was. When I find it, I might pop it in the group because it's interesting. But, yeah, definitely as a new mum, my advice would be just try and get out for a walk every day and talk to people as well. It doesn't matter whether it's day or night. Mm-hmm. Those night feeds are lonely. I'm not going to lie, they are quite lonely. Yep. You think you're the only person in the world. But again, I was very lucky, and it goes back to the community because a lot of you know Connie. So Connie had little Marcus 10 days before Pops.
Yeah, she cheated and had him early.
Yeah, thanks. Still not going to forgive you for that one, Connie.
Not a competition, but she definitely cheated.
She posted a picture, and I remember saying to Sean, like, oh, for God's sake, because then we ended up being 3 days late, didn't we? So yep. I was done by that point. But you know, I was very lucky because I had Connie, and you know, and then you know, I had a lot of mum friends, but ultimately because she had Marcus around the same time, you know, I'll be completely transparent and honest. I'm sure she won't mind me saying, you know, we did really kind of like bond over that. So you know, I'm always here for a message. I probably won't answer it at night because I value my sleep more now than I ever did. But you know, just message somebody if you need to. I'm going to stop there.
No, that's fine. That's good. This is why I wanted this whole conversation in the first place. But just remembering, we're talking specifically about having a baby and caesarean and stuff like that. But it's any injury, anything that happens, work, relationship problems, come off, get back down the dojo. The dojo is the community that saves us. It's the place where we go when everything goes wrong, and it's the place where we go to get everything back in order and make everything right again. It's the community of people in there. They're just in the room doing their training. I see people walk in every day. They walk in, don't even say hello, straight onto the mats. I'm like, you rude bastard. But within 5 minutes, like, how you doing? You all right? You had a good day? And I'm like, yeah, I'm absolutely fine. You just needed that 5 minutes just to let the day slip out of your head, get the warm up done and be like, I'm back. Okay, we're good.
There's a recipe for that.
A recipe for that?
Yeah. It's like, if you want a metaphor, it's like a baked potato.
Right.
When you get the potato out of the oven, you got to let it rest for 5 minutes. Let the potato rest for 5 minutes.
Same as cooking a steak. You've got to let it rest before you eat it.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, it's important.
So.
Okay, that was good.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. We'll go back in the house in a minute and drink some more of these. But just to wrap that up, I think one of the biggest takeaways from this whole conversation, from start to finish, is just that progress doesn't just disappear because your life's changed a little bit or something's got in the way for a couple of months. It's just different, and different doesn't have to be bad. Training after becoming a parent specifically isn't about chasing who you were before, because you're not that person anymore. Things are different and things have to be different for you. But it is about respecting who you are now, listening to your body, whether it's having a baby or coming back from an injury, and giving yourself permission to move forward at your pace. I will hold you to account. I will kick you in the arse if you're being lazy. If you're not pulling your finger out, you're going to know, because I'm going to be this close to you. You've all had me do it to you. I'll walk up behind you doing pad work like, what are you doing? Like, come on, move. But that's what you pay me for, and that's what you expect from me. That's why you train with me. And I just want you to remember as well, if you're coming back from pregnancy, if you're coming back from surgery or any injury, anything that's happened, you've had a rough time at home, relationships falling apart, I don't care what it is. Or if you're just navigating a really busy couple of months in your life and you've not got down to the dojo, consistency doesn't have to be loud or perfect for it to matter. You've just got to get back to it again. Doesn't matter how long the break's been, just come back. Just come back. It doesn't matter. I don't care. It's for you and it's your thing, so do it. So thank you to Jazz coming and sharing your experience so openly, and try not to embarrass me too much. I don't think I embarrassed you too much, apart from the Kegels thing. Anyway, so yeah, funny.
Can I just add to that real quick before we close down?
Go on.
Also, guys, just build your own little communities. Like, I mean, you know, I've come back from injuries. I came back from a motorbike accident, broken bones and stuff. Like, so I've got that side of things. I've also got the whole mum job over here as well. So, you know, if any of you want to talk or ask any questions, I'm quite an open book. Feel free to ask. I'll give you an honest answer, honestly. Ultimately, you got to lean on your friends and on your community. So, and sometimes it's nice to talk to somebody you don't actually know. You know, we've got such great community. There's you know, I mentioned Connie earlier, but you've also got Brooke. So Brooke's little one's year and a half now, Brooke, I think. There's loads and loads of mums. There's loads of dads. There's loads of people with mini disabilities, as we call them. Because at that point, you know, why we pay you to do this, I don't know, but you know,
Because I'm epic.
But yeah, just in short, you know, do talk to people in the club. Don't ever be scared to ask either. So, sorry, I'm done now. Promise.
I'm going to finish off my little epilogue now. So, really quickly, strength isn't just being strong all the time and never having a problem. Strength comes in many forms, in many different varied ways. And motivation is for bullshitters who think they're going to go and be really epic. And in their head, they're awesome. And they're always going to be motivated. And the first little kick in the back end, they just disappear off for 6 months at a time. Motivation's bullshit. Don't rely on it. I don't care. I don't like it when people say I'm motivated at the moment. That's nice. How do you feel next week when it's raining and when it's pitch black outside? Be disciplined. Do it anyway. That's all I want. That's all I want for you, and that's all I want for all of us, is just to be disciplined enough to get it done regardless. So to tie this all up, if this episode resonated with you in any way, consider sharing it with another parent who might need a reminder that they're not behind, they're just adapting. I'm sure. This is Jazz, and this has been the SKMA podcast, Beyond the Belt. I'll see you guys soon.
See you guys.
Right. Give me on those.
Cheers.
I'll give you that tenner in a minute for complimenting me.
Thank you. With interest.